Dust clung to my skin like a second layer as I pulled up to the motel, the desert night swallowing the last light. The clerk's face twisted in apology, room double booked, only one left, and it had a single sagging bed. That's when I saw her, tired eyes under the fluorescent buzz, flannel shirt rumpled from the road, stance guarded like she was holding back a storm of her own. No other rooms. Thunder rumbled outside, promising rain. We agreed to share, words clipped. Silence thickened the air. My heart thudded against my ribs. The door clicked shut behind us. The room felt smaller than it looked from the parking lot. Stale air hit me first, laced with a cheap pine cleaner that couldn't mask the years of travelers passing through. My suitcase bumped against hers as we dragged them inside, the wheels scraping the thin carpet like nails on a chalkboard. I kept my eyes on the floor, avoiding the way the space forced us close. She claimed the left side of the bed first, dropping her bag with a thud that echoed off the peeling wallpaper. I took the right, the mattress dipping under my weight as if it knew we'd be strangers sharing it. "Lena?" she said finally, unzipping her pack without looking up. Her voice was low, rough from the drive, like gravel under tires. "Just passing through. Needed quiet after the city grind." I nodded, folding a shirt slowly to buy time. "Same. Kinda." The words stuck in my throat, gravel in my own voice now, hiding the fresh ache of the breakup that sent me out here. Sarah's texts still burned in my phone, unread. I wasn't ready to unpack that with a stranger. Not yet. The neon sign outside buzzed to life, casting red flickers through the curtains. Vacancy, it mocked. Lying through the glass. Shadows danced on the walls, turning the room into something alive, watchful. We moved in parallel, unpacking just enough for the night. Her flannel sleeve brushed the bedpost. Mine caught the lamp cord. The heat pressed in, no AC kicking on strong enough to fight it. Bodies too close already, though we hadn't touched. I sat on the edge of the bed, unlacing my boots. The leather creaked, pulling free with a sigh. Lena did the same across from me, her boots scuffed from dirt roads, calluses showing on her hands as she tugged. Silence stretched, broken only by the distant rumble of thunder rolling closer. I could feel her presence like a weight, the kind that settles in your chest when you're not alone, but might as well be. "You from around here?" I tried, glancing up. Her eyes met mine for a second, dark, guarded, before dropping back to her laces. "Nah, ranch country, edge of nowhere. You?" "City, fled it." Short, vague. The ache twisted again, but I swallowed it. The bed sagged between us, a divide that felt both too wide and not wide enough. She stood, stretching, flannel pulling tight across her shoulders. The room's heat clung to her skin, a faint sheen catching the red light. I looked away, busying myself with my phone, but the screen blurred. Why this? Why now, in this nowhere stop? The storm outside picked up, wind rattling the window frame like it wanted in. We both froze at the first real crack of thunder. Close. The air hummed with it. Lena's hand paused on her bag. Mine gripped the phone tighter. The pause hung there, bodies inches from collision in the cramped heat, the night stretching out like the desert beyond. I stood up first, the bed creaking under the shift. The room's cooler hummed in the corner, a plastic thing stocked with water bottles sweating in the heat. "Want some?" I asked, pulling one out before she could answer. The plastic chilled my palm, condensation slick against my skin. Lena nodded, still perched on her side, knees drawn up slightly. I crossed the space between us, handing it over, our fingers brushed. Rough calluses on hers against my smoother ones. A jolt ran up my arm, sharp like static from the carpet. Neither of us pulled away fast enough. I cleared my throat, twisting the cap off my own bottle. The first sip cut through the dust in my mouth, cool and flat. Outside, the wind picked up, relentless, whipping sand against the window like tiny fists. It rattled the frame. A low whine that filled the pauses. "This desert wind never quits," I said, nodding toward the glass. "Feels like it's trying to get in." She twisted her bottle open, took a long pull. "Yeah, grows on you after a while, or wears you down." Her voice carried a dry edge, like the air itself. The AC finally kicked in harder, a steady hum that pushed back against the heat, but it couldn't touch the tension settling between us. I rummaged in my bag for the snacks I'd grabbed at the last gas station. Chips, a couple of energy bars, nothing fancy. "Here," I offered, tossing a bag her way. It landed soft on the bed, crinkling open as she caught it. We ate in bites, crumbs scattering on the sheets like careless secrets. The salt hit sharp, mixing with the lingering grit on my tongue. "So, what brings you out this way?" Lena asked, wiping her hands on her jeans. Her eyes flicked to mine, probing, light but steady. I paused, chip halfway to my mouth. "Work stuff. Needed a break from the city." Truth bent around the edges, Sarah's face flashing in my mind, the slammed door, the silence after. I crunched down, buying time. "You? Ranch life doesn't scream road trip." She leaned back against the headboard, flannel shifting with the movement. "Edge of a ranch, really. Family place, dusty as hell. I handle the horses mostly. Gets quiet out there. Too quiet sometimes." Her words trailed, guarded, like she was testing the water. The wind howled again, pressing the curtains inward. "Sounds peaceful," I said, though it didn't. My replies stayed short, silt stirring in my chest from old wounds I wasn't ready to dig up. The city had been noise, but this... Her across from me, the room closing in, felt louder. She laughed then, dry and rare, cutting through the AC's drone like a crack in dry earth. It pulled at something in me, warm, despite the chill in her tone. Peaceful? More like lonely. Horses don't talk back much. Crumbs dusted her lap as she shook the bag. Another gust rattled the window, harder now. I shifted closer without meaning to, the bed dipping us toward each other. "What about people? Family around?" "Some. Not the talking kind." She met my eyes longer this time, the red neon flickering across her face. The air between us thickened, questions hanging like the humidity building outside. My guarded heart thudded, replies locked behind silt I wasn't ready to shift. The first drops hit then, heavy on the roof, pounding like urgent questions demanding answers. The rain came down harder, sheets of it slamming the roof like it had a grudge. Each drop thudded through the thin ceiling, vibrating the air in the room. I set the chip bag aside, the salt lingering on my fingers, sticky in the rising humidity. Lena did the same, her movements slow, deliberate. The neon outside blurred behind the water streaking the window, turning the red glow into a smeared warning. Then the lights flickered, once, twice. The bulb overhead buzzed, casting jittery shadows that danced across the walls like they were alive. Thunder followed, a deep crack that shook the motel's frame, rattling the cheap headboard against the wall. My body tensed, muscles coiling tight. The power held, barely. The light steadying but weaker now, as if straining against a storm. "Jesus," I muttered, rubbing my arms. The chill seeped in through the cracks, cutting the heat that had built earlier. Goosebumps rose on my skin, the thin t-shirt doing nothing against it. Lena shifted beside me, the bed creaking under her weight. She pulled the blanket from the foot of the mattress, a scratchy thing that smelled faintly of bleach and old smoke. "Here," she said. Voice low over the roar outside, she draped it over us both, the fabric settling heavy. I scooted closer without thinking, the space between us shrinking to nothing. Our shoulders touched first, her flannel rough against my arm, warm through the layers. The contact sent a spark up my spine, but I didn't pull away. The storm's fury pressed in, wind howling through the parking lot, whipping gravel against the side of the building like scattered stones. Under the blanket, the air trapped our heat, bodies huddling for warmth in the cramped bed. Her breath came steady, even in the dark flashes when lightning cracked the sky. Mine ragged, catching on the edges of nerves I couldn't name. The thunder rolled again, closer, vibrating through the floorboards into my bones. I gripped the edge of the blanket, knuckles whitening. The room felt smaller, the walls closing with each boom. A flash lit the space, white and sharp, cutting through the curtains. It caught her profile for a split second, jaw set, eyes fixed on the window, lips pressed thin. The light faded quick, leaving after images burned in. The storm churned outside, mirroring the twist in my gut, the way old fears stirred like silt in a flooded river. Rain pounded relentless, drowning the AC's hum, turning the world into water and noise. "You okay?" Lena asked, her voice cutting through. She turned her head, breath brushing my ear in the close dark. I swallowed, the lump in my throat thick. "Yeah, just... thunder always gets to me." The words slipped out, small, before I could catch them. Childhood flashes hit, nights under covers, heart slamming, waiting for the next strike. I hadn't admitted that in years, not since the city swallowed such things. She paused, the blanket shifting as she moved. "Me too. Used to hide in the barn as a kid, horses stomping to match the noise." Her tone softened, a crack in the guard she'd held all night. Vulnerability hung there, raw in the humid air. Lightning flashed again, thunder chasing it like a shout. My hand found hers under the covers, accidental at first, fingers brushing in the tangle. Calluses rough on her palm, mine smoother, but trembling. I meant to let go. Instead, the grip lingered, longer than needed, thumb pressing into her skin. Warmth spread from the contact, steadying the ragged edge of my breath. Her fingers curled back, holding on. The storm raged on, rain sluicing down the roof, but in that moment, the thunder felt farther. Our hands stayed linked, the touch a quiet anchor against the shake. The thunder rolled softer now, a low grumble fading into the rain's steady patter. Our hands stayed linked under the blanket, fingers woven loose but firm, like roots finding soil in cracked earth. The room's humidity clung heavier, wrapping around us, making every breath feel shared. I could hear Lena's pulse through her palm, steady against my own erratic thrum. She shifted. First, the bed creaking under the movement. Flannel rustled against the sheets. That storm. It pulls things up, doesn't it? Her voice came out whispered, barely cutting the drip outside. The words hung there, testing the dark. I turned my head, her face close in the dim red glow from the neon. Shadows played soft on her jaw. Yeah, like silt stirring. My thumb traced a callus on her hand, rough from rains or fences, I guessed. The touch grounded me, pulled the words I'd buried. She exhaled slow. Back home, ranch towns all straight lines, church on Sundays, expectations thick as dust. A pause, her grip tightening. There was someone. Ellie. We worked the same spread, kept it hidden. Stolen glances in the barn, hands brushing over feed buckets. Thought it was safe, till someone saw. Her voice cracked, raw like wind-scoured rock. The desert night amplified it, words echoing off thin walls, filling the humid air. I felt the ache mirror in my chest. She left? The question slipped quiet, empathy pulling it out. Lena nodded, barely visible. Town whispered. Her family dragged her away, said it was a phase. Mine pretended it never happened. I buried it deep, like a dry well. Tears traced her cheek then, glinting in the faint light. She wiped them quick with her free hand, but the salt lingered in the air, sharp. My eyes burned. The storm eased outside, rain easing to a hush, but inside, the churn built. I know that berry. My voice gravel now, throat tight. Came out in the city, thought it was freer, family doors slammed, mom's face like this motel's lock, final click. Dad walked out, said I wasn't his anymore. Left me with echoes guarding every step since. The pain echoed back, fresh as the breakup that drove me here. Tears welled, hot on my lashes. I let one fall, wiped it on the blanket edge. No hiding now. Her hand squeezed mine, bridge across the gap. Empathy warmed her touch, steadying the shake. That hurts worse than thunder, she murmured. The words wrapped close, pulling us nearer. Bodies shifted, instinctive. Her flannel brushing my cotton shirt, rough against soft. Heat built between us. Not just the rooms, but something alive, pulsing. We lay there, sides pressed now. The bed no divide. Her breath warmed my neck, mine fanned her hair. The question hung unspoken at first, heavy in the humid pause. Why hide it all? Why let the world build those walls? Then she voiced it, whisper, cutting the quiet. Why now? In this nowhere room? With a stranger? Her eyes searched mine in the low light, raw edges showing. I swallowed, heart thudding. Maybe because it's nowhere, no eyes watching, just us, and the storm stripping it bare. The confession built slow, words tumbling like easing rain. The night revealed us, cracks widening to light. Her hand moved then, sliding from mine to my arm. Calluses scraped light over my skin, rough from rains or fences, I figured. The tremor in her fingers betrayed it, want humming under the surface, electric in the humid dark. I froze, breath catching. The rain outside died to a drip, leaving the room too quiet, our pulses loud in the pause. I turned into her touch, eyes locking. I felt it too, I whispered, voice gravel thick. Since the door shut, your eyes, tracing me, curves under the light. The admission hung raw, heat flushing my cheeks. Her gaze had lingered earlier, on my neck, the dip of my shirt, subtle but there, pulling like desert gravity. Lena's breath hitched, her hand tightened, thumb pressing into my bicep. Flannel shifted as she leaned closer, scent of earth and faint sweat mixing with the motel's stale air, but her eyes flickered, guarded again. It's just the storm talking. Desert nights like this, they trick you, fleeting. Hearts end up bruised, left in the dust. Pushback came sharp, her voice low but edged, fear cracking through. I pulled back an inch, the bed creaking. Trick or truth? My heart slammed, old wounds stirring. Sarah's goodbye. The way desire always twisted into loss. You think I don't know fleeting? I've run from it, built walls thicker than this town's. Silence, but here... I gestured vague at the room, neon flickering faint through wet glass. It's stripping them bare. She sat up straighter, blanket pooling at her waist. Flannel sleeves rolled now, forearms corded from work. And what then? Morning comes, we drive off, another nowhere stop, another ghost. Her words rose, frustration spilling over the dying rain's patter. The argument flared quick, voices bouncing off thin walls, louder than the thunder's echo. I can't do that again. Ellie's face. It haunts the ranch every dawn. I matched her tone, sitting up too, knees bumping hers. Cotton clung to my skin, damp from the humidity. You think I'm chasing ghosts? This pull, it's real. Your hand on me shaking, mine wanting more. The air thickened, charged like the storm's tail. We leaned in, faces inches, breaths mingling hot. Fear clashed with want, words tumbling faster. Hiding won't save us, it just buries deeper. Lena's eyes flashed, dark in the low light. Save us. We just met. This room's a cage, not a confessional. Her voice cracked higher, hand gesturing wild, knocking the water bottle from the nightstand. It rolled, thudding soft on carpet. The rain's hush amplified us, every syllable sharp as gravel. I grabbed her wrist, gentle but firm. A cage? Or a crack in the wall? Pulse raced under my fingers, her tremor matching mine. The space between shrank, bodies drawn like magnets. Silence fell heavy for a beat. Then she surged forward. Lips crashed on mine, desperate, tasting salt from tears and dust from the road. Rough, urgent, her mouth hot and seeking. I kissed back, hands fisting her flannel, pulling her closer. The world narrowed to that point, tongues tangling, breath ragged. Her calluses grazed my neck, sending sparks down my spine. We twisted, sheets bunching under us, the bed groaning protest. Then she pulled away, gasping, eyes wide. Wait! The word hung, fear flickering back, but I didn't let go. My hand cupped her jaw, thumb tracing her lip. Don't. Leaned in again, slower this time, kiss deepening. She melted into it, resistance crumbling. Hands roamed, mine under her shirt, feeling warm skin, hers tugging my hair. Gentle pull. We fell back, tangled in sheets, bodies pressing close. Flannel against cotton, heat building fierce. The drama peaked there, breath sinking in the afterrush, rain forgotten outside. Pull away, then back, each cycle stripping more layers, want winning over fear. Aftermath quieted slow, truths reshaping the space between us. Her head on my shoulder, fingers tracing lazy on my arm. The room felt different now, less cage, more haven. Dawn hinted faint through curtains, but we lingered, hearts no longer guarded alone. We lay side by side, the sheets twisted around our legs like vines claiming ground. Her head rested on my shoulder, flannel discarded now, her bare skin warm against mine. Breath synced slow, rising and falling in the quiet that followed the storm's hush. The air still carried rain's damp edge, mixing with our sweat, heavy and real. My fingers traced the curve of her arm, light over the faint scars from ranch work, small nicks like memories etched in. Shame crept in then, soft but insistent, like silt, settling after flood. Those walls, Lena murmured, her voice a rumble against my chest. Built them high after Ellie, town eyes everywhere judging. Made me think wanting this, wanting you, was wrong. Internalized it deep, like poison in the well. Her words hung, vulnerable, pulling at my own guarded heart. I felt the echo, the way I'd armored up after family cuts, after Sarah's fade. Mine too, I whispered, hands stilling on her skin. Guarded everything, heart locked tight, afraid one crack would flood it all. City lights hid the fear, but it clung, dust in the lungs. She shifted, propping on an elbow, eyes searching mine in the dim. The neon's red had faded to gray dawn, seeping through curtains. What if we dreamed bigger? Her tone lifted, tentative. Queer life, not just stolen nights. A place where hands like this don't hide. Community, voices calling back. I saw it flicker in her gaze, a pull beyond isolation. Women like us, weaving nets of safety. My chest tightened, hope stirring gritty as sand. Yeah, beyond this nowhere. Tables full of stories, dances without watching eyes. Belonging that doesn't break at dawn. Laughter broke through then, sudden and dry. She chuckled first, low, her breath tickling my neck. Look at us, in a sagging motel bed, double-booked fate handing out truths like bad coffee. I joined in, the sound bubbling up, self-deprecating jabs easing the weight. City girl flees breakup, ends up tangled with ranch hand. Storm's doing, or just bad luck? Her grin flashed, teeth white in the growing light. Luck? More like the desert's joke, throws you together, strips the bullshit. We laughed harder, bodies shaking the mattress, the release cracking old shame like dry earth under boot. Fingers intertwined again, hers calloused weaving through mine smooth. The touch held promise, unspoken. Morning light waiting, but this night shifting us. No words needed, the grip said enough, steady against the unknown. Desert dawn strengthened, golden edges pushing through curtains, warming the room's chill. It forced the night to yield, revelations settling deep. Sunlight sliced through the curtains, sharp and unyielding. We woke entangled, legs twisted in the sheets, her arm heavy across my waist. The room smelled of rain-soaked earth and us, skin still warm from the night. I blinked against the glare, reality crashing in like the desert heat. The clock on the nightstand blinked, sent a.m. Checkout was noon. The motel's hum stirred outside, cars pulling away, voices fading. This bubble was bursting. Lena stirred first, her breath catching as she lifted her head. Eyes met mine, soft from sleep, but sharpening quick. "Morning," she murmured, fingers tracing my hip. Light, lingering. The touch pulled at me, but the light exposed everything. The rumpled bed, our discarded clothes, the world waiting beyond the door. I sat up slow, sheets pooling at my waist. Cotton clung damp to my skin, a reminder of sweat and sighs. "Yeah, morning." My voice, gravel thick, throat dry. The night's truths felt fragile now, like dew under sun. What next? Drive off separate, this just a desert fever dream. She propped on an elbow, flannel pulled back on loose, buttons undone at the top. "We don't have to go yet." Her words came urgent, hand reaching for mine. "Extend the stay. Face this. Us. Together. No running back to walls." Plea hung in her eyes, raw, the ranch guard cracked wide. I saw the want there, steady as her calluses, pulling me towards something real. But fear twisted in my gut, cold despite the warming air. Patterns of loss flashed. Sarah's car pulling away, family doors slamming, echoes of goodbyes that carved deep. Together? In what? I pulled my hand back, sitting straighter. Heart thudded hard, ribs aching. "This room's temporary. You'll head to your ranch. I'll chase city noise. Another goodbye, just dressed in flannel." Resistance built, words spilling sharp. I couldn't do fleeting again, not when it felt this close to home. Lena's face hardened, jaw setting like fence posts. She swung her legs off the bed, feet hitting carpet with a thud. "That's fear talking, same as mine after Ellie." Her voice rose, echoing off thin walls, storm reborn inside. The argument ignited fast, me standing now, pulling on my shirt, buttons fumbling. "Fear? You think this is new? I've lost enough to know patterns don't break easy." My tone matched hers, loud in the small space, bouncing back like thunder's ghost. She paced the 2 steps the room allowed, flannel sleeves pushed up, arms corded tight. Then why kiss me? Why hold on if it's just loss waiting? Frustration cracked her words, hands gesturing wild, knocking the lampshade askew. Light flickered erratic, shadows jumping. I'm tired of hiding, of ranch silences swallowing want. This, us, could be different. But you're slamming doors before they open. I stepped closer, knees bumping the bed's edge. Heat flushed my cheeks, old aches stirring like silt in rising wind. Different? How? You plead for more, but morning shows the truth. Roads split, lives pull apart. Voices climbed higher, the storm inside raging, rain's patter forgotten. The walls seemed to lean in, amplifying every shout, every breath ragged. I can't build on sand, Lena, not again. She stopped pacing, eyes flashing dark. Breaking point hit, her hand grabbed her bag from the floor, zipper rasping loud. Fine, patterns win. She slung it over her shoulder, turning for the door, boots scuffing carpet. Heart slammed in my chest, panic sharp as gravel. No, not like this. I lunged, hand catching her arm, pulled, her back hard, bag dropping with a thud. Wait, the word choked out, desperate. She turned, close now, breaths mingling hot, our eyes locked, the room shrinking to that point. It's not patterns, it's you. Love sparked here in this forced mess. Double booked, storm-bound. I feel it too. Don't go. Her grip softened on the bag strap, free hand cupping my face. Tremor there, matching mine. Silence fell heavy, truths binding us unexpected. The sun climbed higher, but we stood still, anchored. Her thumb brushed my cheek, rough and steady. The touch sealed it, no more running. We agreed then, voices low in the sun-warmed room. Drive on together, leave the motel's thin walls behind. Connections stretched ahead, fragile but real, like a road cutting through endless sand. We packed slow, the air shifting lighter now, my hands, folded shirts, hers zip bags, fingers lingering on zippers and straps. A brush here, her callus against my knuckle, sent warmth curling up my arm. The sheets we stripped last, bunching them quick, the fabric still holding our scent. Dust motes danced in the light, slanting through the window, catching on her hair as she bent to grab a boot. Numbers first. I pulled out my phone, screen cracked from the drive. She leaned close, shoulder to mine, breath warm on my neck as she recited hers. Digits tapped in, deliberate, each one a thread tying us beyond this stop. City meet next week, I said, pocketing it. Her ranch on the way, then my place. Plans rough sketched, hope gritty as sand under tires. No details yet, just the pull forward, away from isolation's grip. The embrace came at the door, her arms wrapping strong around me. Flannel soft now, warmed by her skin. Wind whipped in as we stepped out, tugging hair across my face, hers tangling wild like new beginnings uncoiling. Desert air hit fresh, rain-scented, cutting the motel's stale hold. Her chin rested on my shoulder, gripped tight for a beat longer. "This feels right," she murmured, voice rumbling low. I nodded into her neck, inhaling earth and faint sweat, the world widening beyond the parking lot. We walked to the cars side by side, gravel crunching under boots. Mine first, a dusty sedan, hers a truck scarred from ranch hauls. Keys jingled in my hand, cool metal grounding the rush in my chest. She paused at her door, turning back. Eyes met, promise full in the glance, dark and steady, pulling me across the lot. I crossed the space, hand squeezing hers one last time, calluses rough, but the hold soft now, unspoken vows in the squeeze. Engines hummed to life, hers rumbling deep, mine a quieter purr. The desert road stretched out, heat shimmering on asphalt ahead. I glanced in the rear view as we pulled away, Motel shrinking small. Her truck followed close, dust trailing like a shared wake. Possibility hung there in the miles unfolding, queer paths twisting toward light, no longer alone in the grit. The journey didn't end at checkout. It lingered, echoing in every mile. The road unspooled ahead, asphalt rippling in the heat like a promise half kept. Her truck stayed close in my mirror, a steady shadow cutting through the dust we kicked up together. One night, that's all it took to shatter walls I'd built over years, brick by aching brick. The motel's thin door had clicked shut on my guarded heart, but Lena's touch cracked it wide. Now, with the desert stretching empty, I felt the echoes settle deep, reshaping the quiet inside me. Her scent lingered on the pillow I'd left behind, earth and faint rain mixed with the motel's bleach edge. It clung to my shirt still, ghosting my skin like a hand that wouldn't let go. The way her calluses had traced my arm, rough and sure, sent shivers now, even with the AC blasting cold. Skin remembered before the mind could argue, holding the warmth of her body pressed close, breath sinking in the dark. Flannels scratch against cotton, the bed sag pulling us nearer. Sensory threads weaving through the miles, unbreakable. Empowerment rose slow, gritty as sand shifting under tires. I'd chosen desire over fear's grip, let want flood the silt of old losses. No more hiding in city corners or ranch silences, burying pieces of myself like dry wells. This pull had stripped the pretense, left me raw but standing. Vulnerability wasn't weakness. It was a key turning in that final lock, doors swinging open to light I'd long denied. Have you felt that pull, you out there listening? The kind that hits in unlikely rooms, forcing truths to surface like storm-washed stones. Truth waits in those nowhere places, a double-booked bed, a shared blanket against thunder, ready to claim if you reach. I did, and the world widened, no longer hemmed by shame's edges. Queer paths twist like these desert roads, full of sudden turns and hidden horizons. But honesty lights them, steady as dawn creeping over dunes. No more alone in the grit, Lena's truck a reminder, hearts linked across the divide. We drove on, the open expanse ahead fading into possibility, echoes fading, but the turn etched permanent. The door swung wide to sun, her hand firm in mine, no turning back now. If this pull resonates, subscribe for more raw Sapphic truths that strip the walls bare. Share below your unexpected revelations,